Hey Port fans, well our dream of our first ever round 1 win continues to elude us in the AFLW as our girls went down to the Freo Dockers by 22 points, with the final score of the game being Port Adelaide 24, Fremantle 46. This score is a little bit flattering to Freo because at one point in the fourth quarter we were within a goal of overtaking them. It's a bit shame they managed to get a few late goals and escape. So, going into this game, I was a little bit concerned by our performance against the Pies in the preseason, where we seem to have a lot of issues inside 50 and converting those to goals. And unfortunately, it looks like that wasn't entirely a fluke, because we definitely looked very fumbly inside 50 with a lot of missed handballs, the ball landing on our feet awkwardly, and obviously Dowrick missing that set shot right in front of goals. However, I don't want to completely write off Freo's defence here, as they were very good. I can see why players like Emma O'Driscoll are considered All-Australian, as she unfortunately did a really good job in shutting down Gemma Houghton in her 75th. However, I don't think this game was entirely lost by our fumbliness inside 50, as we allowed way too many uncontested marks in the first quarter, and this resulted in Freo getting a lot of inside 50s, which put a lot of pressure on our defenders. But with that being said, Indy Tahau, in her return after her ACL, so basically 2 years out of playing, she was definitely doing a really good job holding her ground back there. And Jermac as well, because obviously, unfortunately, we lost Emily Borg very early on in the first quarter with an ankle. Please do not be a 4 to 6 week injury, as we just cannot do that. Our injury list is already looking pretty big, and I do not want to have another injury crisis after what happened in the men's season. However, I don't think I want to say entirely the reason we lost is just because we were missing key players like Teakle, as we definitely had a lot of strange game styles. For some reason, during the second and third quarter, we were doing these switch plays. We were trying to move it from one side of the field to the other, and that's not normally our style. Our normal style has always been to kick it to our advantage so fast that the opposition doesn't have time to respond. And when we were doing that in the fourth quarter, we were definitely showing a lot of promise, which is, while I want to speak about that fourth quarter, I definitely think we've still got that fourth quarter in us. We had some amazing running speed from players like Goody, Dowrick, and Pope, especially Pope. While she was very fumbly and unfortunately missed a lot of handballs, she did end up kicking that goal in the fourth quarter, which I think redeemed her in a lot of us Port fans' eyes from some of her mistakes earlier on. Also want to shout out Matilda Schultz, who looks like she hasn't lost anything of her elite playstyle from last year. She was, while I think she was possibly being a little outplayed in the ruck by Min Strom, she was definitely doing a great job in the midfield, breaking away from tackles, along with Ash Woodland, who we started in forward but brought her on ball, and I think we should have probably just started her on ball from the get-go, because the fundamental is the other girls just can't seem to break tackles. The smaller girls on our team just can't break tackles the same way Schultz and Woodland can. And that was definitely a game here where Freo was very much onto us, and there was a lot of tackles. And also a lot of smothers as well was a bit of a funny thing. I think it might have been a record for the amount of smothers in an AFLW game. While we did look pretty good in the fourth quarter, we were unfortunately getting outbodied a bit, and also there was a few slips. I think O'Day slipped over a few times, and this unfortunately was one of the reasons why Freo was able to get those late goals, which is what unfortunately sunk any chances of a comeback. But still, I think there was a lot of promise there, and I do think that unfortunately might be the summary of today's match, and might be the case for our season, especially in these first few weeks, that we're showing some promise, but it definitely feels like we've taken a step or two back from the semi-final against Hawthorn. So hopefully we just need maybe a game or two to settle into it, and then we should hopefully be back to our elite form. And speaking about the next game, yes, North Melbourne at Arden Street. This is definitely going to be a fun game for us. Obviously, probably most of us are already writing this one off, but hopefully, like this Freo game, we can use it as a learning experience as we go into some more winnable games after that. So looking forward to next week as much as we can, and hope we do the best. And in the meantime, let's go Power!